I ended up cramming a lot of stuff in to the last couple weeks of October, so this is going to miss that month. It would have been very fitting. I didn't make it, but I have seen Abigail. So, this was a movie I knew about from earlier in the year. Looked interesting. It's on streaming. I have now seen it. And it's funny because one of the criticisms I've seen that I don't necessarily share, but one of the criticisms I've seen is that it takes like half the runtime before it gets to the part that you already know if you've seen the trailer. Which I get that that's frustrating, especially since it doesn't seem like the movie was necessarily designed with the realization of what was going to end up being in the trailer. But the thing is, what do you market this movie as without revealing that? Because then you're just in a dusk till dawn situation where you just have to pretend it's a completely different movie from what it ends up being. And as much as I like From Dusk Till Dawn, that didn't necessarily work from a marketing standpoint. That movie probably should have been bigger than it was. But anyways, this was me dancing around talking about the actual premise. The premise that you will see if you've seen any trailer or read any description, literally anywhere, including, off of places where it's streaming. So I don't know why I'm dancing around it. I don't know. It feels weird. I feel like people should have the chance to hear me say, it's good. Not amazing, but good. And maybe go see it if they don't know. But I figure at this point, everybody knows. So this is a story where a crew of professional criminals, you have sort of your point man, your ringleader kind of guy. You have a hacker. You have sort of a negotiator. You've got the muscle. You've got the wheelman. You've got the sniper. All these people are brought in to kidnap a 12-year-old girl and theoretically just sit on her overnight while the guy who set all this up arranges for the ransom. Then they'll all get paid. Well, she's not just any little girl. She's not even just any little girl who happens to be a ballerina. She's a vampire. And this whole thing was really just set up for her to have fun killing and eating these people. And it does take about half the movie to get to the full reveal of that. Whereas you know where this is going if you've seen a single trailer or read a single description of it. If you know what it is at all, if you've heard the title, you probably know it as the Vampire Ballerina Movie. That having been said, though, like I said, I'm not sure I share that as a criticism. I get that it does kind of hamper the experience insofar as it does seem like when the script was made and the film was directed, they didn't realize what it was actually going to be marketed as, and that maybe they should have pushed the reveal up a little sooner. You can make that argument. But what I would also say is that the time is not poorly used. Where I think it would have been a problem is if the time up until the reveal of her as a vampire was boring. And I don't think it is. I think that these aren't the deepest characters in the world, but I think there's enough depth and good enough actors are playing these parts that I think it works to spend time with them, see the tensions between them, and get a sense of who they are and who they are when playing off each other before everything goes to absolute hell. I mean, let's be honest, most disaster movies, the disaster doesn't happen until halfway through the thing. And the reason you do that is so that you can get to know these characters. And as long as you do that well and aren't boring about it, it can work. And I think, for the most part, it does here. I still got to give the biggest props to the character of Abigail herself. This actress playing her, I bet you she had a blast playing this part. She looks like she is having fun, which is good because that's part of the premise. This isn't just about her having victims for feeding. She wants to toy with them. This is fun for her. As she puts it, she likes to play with her food. So it was really important that she seemed like she's having fun, and she does. And from that, I assume that the actress was having a lot of fun. There's some very cool visuals in this as well, just with, honestly, just some of the shooting angles, especially during the opening ballet stuff where we see her dancing. Some of the moves she does, I'm like, oh, okay. But then they just flip the angle and it's just, wow, that actually looks really off-putting when you show it from that angle. Wow, okay. It's some cool decisions like that. Heavy use of the opening of Swan Lake, which, oh, that thing bangs. Like, here's the thing about Swan Lake. I've seen Swan Lake. I've seen the ballet, and it was good. It was well performed. The ballerina performers were fantastic, and they did some amazing stuff. But like, you think about the show, you think about the music. Nothing else in that ballet goes as hard as that opening does. But if you're going to lean on part of Swan Lake, that's a good part to lean on. The setting's real cool. It's sort of this big mansion-y kind of place that's like half falling apart. So it has this combination of like big expansive, but some things that seem like, ooh, like that seems like kind of new and modernish and up to date, but like then they'll go to other parts or like into the basement and it's like, it looks like it's crumbling. So there's a good atmosphere of the setting as well. So that helps. And I think the performers all did solid jobs. I don't think anybody other than the girl who plays Abigail is exceptional, but nobody does a bad job. Everyone does solid work on this. And it's fun. It's bloody, gory fun. And it's a kind of setup that is entertaining as well because, like, these people came into this situation to kidnap a kid. Like, they try to do this establishing thing of like our main character that we're following. She didn't know it was a kid, and there's this implication maybe she wouldn't have done it if she'd known, except that it's made clear that she's desperate enough for the money. She probably still would have done it. But like, these people are not good people. So there is sort of a fun catharsis to seeing them get torn apart. Like the normal way a lot of horror movies or slasher-ish kind of things would handle that would be, with more low-level sense, sort of the classic Scream rules. You drink, you do drugs, you have sex, you get killed. I'm like, well, okay, sure. But these people are murderers and thieves and have indirectly killed people, if not directly. And like, they're not good people. They're just not. And they are probably more deserving. And yet more deserving of being killed. And yet we still have it from their perspective. So we still see their fear and their tension and their terror at everything going on. And I think that's just well handled. It is fun. And I don't think... So I am going to complain a little bit about the ending. I'm not going to go into super detail on it, but I guess I would consider this kind of a little bit spoiler-ish. But the ending, specifically, there's a point towards the tail end where there's a villain shift. Because Abigail is the monster for the majority of this movie. She's the monster, she's the killer, she is the thing that they are afraid of, she is the thing they are trying to stop. And in the tail end, the movie kind of pivots to make another character into sort of the big climactic threat. And it's not Abigail. And I don't super love that decision. I get why they did it, because Abigail, as Vicious says, she is also fun enough that it becomes one of those characters that you could see either the creators getting attached to or feeling like the audience is going to get attached to a degree that they are not going to want to see her get killed, which is what the human characters are trying to do, because it's the only way to be sure that they get out here alive. So I get why the decision was made. I just didn't find it that interesting. Like I felt the hands of the author as like, okay, we know you like Abigail, so don't worry. The final showdown won't be against Abigail. It'll be against this instead. Like, oh. It's one of those things that's sort of, I want to say morally simplifying. I'm not sure if that's true, because like morally the situation isn't that great, but like in terms of the characters you enjoy as an audience member, you probably are a little bit torn on how you want all this to pan out. And I don't think that's the way I would have gone. Like, if you don't want to have Abigail get killed, there are other ways around it than this. And sort of pivoting the focus off of her and onto somebody else, I don't know. It felt a little cheap. It doesn't ruin the movie. Like, it wasn't so bad a decision that I was like, oh, you just wrecked the whole thing. No, it doesn't. And I get why they did it. I just don't think it was worth it for what they got out of that decision. But other than that, like, this is just solid. It's not amazing. This is a really solid, hey, you want to watch that one? It's fun. Oh yeah, put it on kind of movie. It's not a, you need to see this, it's the most incredible piece, but not everything needs to be that. It's not trying to be that. It wants to be a good time. It is a good time. And if you missed it during October, still worth watching. Abigail, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon pays the bills and enables me to do this as my living. Even if you can't help me out that way, like, share, and subscribe. All help me out. Don't worry too much about it, though. We take a relaxed attitude around here, so you can just come on back next time you need a break. And now to give thanks to my highest supporting patrons: Robin Moore, Zubin Lutfula, Goddess Elida, Welsh Wrestling Geeks, Oliver B., Melissa Pedersen, Movie Turtle, Ulrich Bogdan, Loki Eris, Melinda Walters, Auntie Kate 808, Becky Sparks, Bernabi Lex the Poodle, Tracy Scrabbit, Angry Casperl, Dave Hall, Quite Bearish, Rosalind Bennett, Adam R.D.L. Taylor, Pau Baraba Jago, Mira G, and Sir Didymus is my favorite. I don't know, it feels right that it's October the first time you're seeing all three of these at the same time.